Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. This video has been a super long awaited video, highly requested. Now for the people who are new to my channel who just clicked on this video because of the title, hi, thank you so much for watching and I hope I can share some information with you. My name is Keysha. I was born and raised in Antwerp, in Belgium, and I'm currently 25 years old. I moved to the States when I was 22. I moved in 2013. Now you might want to watch the previous video that I did, the Why I Left Belgium video. That was a very controversial video. I feel like a lot of people have mixed feelings about it, which is completely fine. Not everybody has the same opinion as I do, and that's perfectly fine. That's how the world works. There was just a lot of people doubting the fact if I could even talk about my experience, if I was legit, if maybe I was hanging around the wrong crowd in Belgium, if I wasn't depressed myself, if I don't know. A lot of stuff was said about basically my feelings and emotions about Belgium not being valid. And for all those people, I just want to say, I don't care what you think. My opinions were 100% my own. That's really all I can say about it. First, what I do want to say, because there was a lot of confusion in the other video, is I am mixed race. I'm half Belgian, half African-American. My mom is white Belgian from Antwerp, and my dad is an African American from the East Coast in the United States. He moved to Belgium due to basketball. So that's a little rundown, because there was a lot of questions on how Benjamin and I, which is my husband, how we were able to move to the States together. Did we get two separate visas? Did we get here via studying visa or, you know, a scholarship program, or via work or anything like that? No. So I was born with dual citizenship. This is my Belgium little ID and this is my American passport. I don't know where my ID is right now. So in order for me to obtain the American nationality, my dad, from the moment that I was born, my dad went to the American Embassy in Brussels with, you know, my birth certificate, filling out papers that he legally claimed me and that I got his last name and all that stuff. And then you get your American passport. So I got it via naturalization is what it's called. When one of your parents are from the United States, you can obtain your passport that way, but you do have to be claimed by the parent of that country. So we only had to focus on Benjamin because, to be honest, I could have moved to the States when I was 12 or 14 if my mom would have signed over custody or something to my grandma, or if she said, you know, go to school like your senior year in high school, whatever, in the States. I could have done that because I have my American passport. I also have my social security card. That's also something that I got from the day it came out of my mom's cookie jar. So yeah, that was all set in order for me. So we only had to focus on Benjamin, which was a good thing because, believe me, that's enough paperwork to deal with. So I'm glad we didn't have to go through it together. Well, I mean, we went through it together, but I'm glad we didn't have to do it for the both of us, you know. This is going to be a super long video. Like, I feel like that intro was already 5 minutes long and I didn't even go into details. Like, I didn't even discuss any topics yet. I have like a whole booklet over here that I want to talk about. So this is going to be a long video. Please get your little cups of tea ready, popcorn, snack, whatever the case may be. I'm drinking Turkish tea because my husband is Turkish. Oh, he also has dual citizenship, by the way, but Turkish and Belgium. We got 4 passports up in this bee, so you know our children are going to be stacked. First up, what I'm going to do is like put like a little like screen up or something where you will be able to see like all the topics that I'm going to talk about. I'm trying to do it in order, so what you do like a year before, a month before. I'm trying to follow that. I also got some questions. Okay, what to start with in Belgium is obviously the visa procedure. I would suggest on starting this like a good year to 2 years beforehand if you really want to be like well prepared. Obviously you can do it in a shorter time. We did it a year before we left. I can only talk about one visa because that's the visa that we did, which is a K1 visa, or it's also called the fiance visa, which unfortunately, because of the current events that happened in San Bernardino, which is very, very unfortunate, the president has said that he's going to look into the visa and make changes if needed. So I don't know how long the information that I'm going to give you is like valid for, because if they change it, you know, I no longer have like a real rundown. And I'm not going to go super in detail, because if you guys want to have like a very in-depth talk about the K1 visa, let me know down in the comments, and I'll grab my husband to do this video with me, since he was really way more involved with that than I was, because that was a lot of paperwork. That's really one thing. Be prepared for like a lot of paperwork. For the fiance visa, one of the two has to be an American citizen. The only thing is you also need a sponsorship, and I wasn't able to be the sponsor in this circumstance, which usually is the case, because a person that has the American nationality usually lives in the United States. Now, because I was living in Belgium, I didn't have a job and like taxes and all that stuff in America, so I wasn't able to be the sponsor, even though I was working full-time in Belgium at the time. So we had to look within our family to see if somebody was going to be the sponsor. Be prepared, because also that's a lot of paperwork. They have to be willing to give their tax information, just a lot of personal information. And also it kind of means they vouch for you, but if anything goes wrong, or if anything happens, if the immigrant messes up with the taxes, or if if they go to jail, or if they can't find work and now they're on welfare and stuff like that, the sponsor does get penalized. You know, they come after the sponsor, so also definitely be aware of that. They asked us a lot of information as well. I actually still have some files, so again, if you really want an in-depth video on the K1 visa, please let me know so we can go ahead and film that for you guys. I was a petitioner, and I had to sign like a document stating that I do hereby state that I'm legally able and willing to marry my husband, and intend to do so within 90 days of my arrival into the US. So that's another thing. As soon as you then go to the United States, you have 90 days to get married. After those 90 days, the visa is no longer valid, and you have to start all over again. So don't mess that up. You have 90 days. Do not miss that up. And then some other documents, we had to give our US passport. Well, my US passport, my social security number, his Belgium, my Belgium ID as well, my pay slips, his pay slips, his Belgium ID, and all that stuff. We also had to do like a little resume type of letter, making a story, which I was not offended, but I was annoyed by it. Like, we had to do like, we met in da 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 da. Our first date was ba da da da. I met his parents at ba da 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 da. Like, we had to put down everything. We had to send in pictures of us and our parents and stuff. And I was annoyed, but obviously I know that it's very necessary to make sure it's not just, you know, a scam marriage and anything like that. And for this particular reason, it did work in our favor that I wasn't living in the United States. So even though for the sponsor it was kind of like annoying that I wasn't living in the United States, but then for this to prove our relationship, it was good that I was living in Belgium, because at least we could say like, hey, we live 40 minutes apart, because my husband is from Ghent. We see each other every month, you know, every week. We've been together for 4 or 5 years. I don't remember when we did the papers. We have all these pictures, so it wasn't like, you know, you see on TV on TLC, because I hate that program, the 90-day fiance. That's bullshit. If there's somebody watching from that show, holla at your girl, because there's other stories that also would like to be told. Not everybody goes to another country like Ukraine or Mexico or Belgium and stays there for like 2 weeks, meets somebody, falls in love, proposes, and then takes them back to the States and gets married in 90 days. Those are the only marriages that you show on there, which is crap. So they didn't ask for an interview with me, for a sit down with Benjamin and I. They didn't ask all that, which they usually do if it's involving two people on two different continents. But because our relationship was so solid in our proof, it was fine, you know, so that was a good thing. You have to wait until documents get released, until, you know, they get the documents, and they might get the documents in January, but they might not look through your documents until May. So you have to be aware of that as well. The person who's the immigrant, they have to go to the doctor, get like shots and get tested out, make sure you don't have any disease. There's a lot of stuff, people, a lot of stuff. Okay. Then the next one is saving. Also something that you could do, you know, a year, 2 years before, if you obviously are aware that you're trying to move. You obviously always want to save like a little bit more. Like, let's say if you, okay, cable is going to cost $100 once I get in America. Try to be like, okay, no, it's going to cost $110 in America. You know what I'm saying? So give yourself a little wiggle room. That's always a good thing. In your last couple of months here, don't go out on shopping sprees. Don't like buy random clothes. Don't go on last minute holidays. Just like save that money, basically. Because you're going to want to save, you know, enough for everything you need. An apartment or a house, car maybe, internet, electricity, gas, car insurance, your title, your tag, all that stuff. And what I would suggest is to roughly estimate your budget to be like without a job for a couple of months. I would say like, to be like perfect, I would say like between 6 months and a year, you want to like budget that. That's going to be your savings. You know, I'm not going to be employed for like the first full year. That would be amazing, but realistically that's not always the case. Just be aware of that. I moved in September of 2013 and I started working in May of 2014. Next is your location, like where do you want to move, because that also has, you know, to be connected to the savings. Because if you move to like New York or a neighborhood where you know you're not going to be needing a car, public transportation is popping, then you can budget that out and put a little bit more towards like future rent maybe, or just have that on the side for obviously like food and necessities and stuff. What is important to you? To be in a touristy area, or do you want to be near a lot of public transportation? You know, like what is important to you? I have family in Florida, so I knew that I liked Florida. That's first off. I mean, it's hot over here. The only thing I can't stand is the humidity. But, you know, you deal with it. All my family's on the East Coast, so it would have been a bigger gamble to, bam, move to the West Coast. The year before we moved, Benjamin, he's a soccer player, and he actually had a tryout with Orlando City Soccer. So he had been to Florida at that point for the first time, because before that he'd only been to New York and New Jersey. So when he got back, he told me that he really liked Florida and he saw some neighborhoods and all that good stuff. So that's how we knew where we wanted to move. Also, I will put the information of a website right here and I will link it down below. This is a website that Benjamin like stalked to death. He put every single neighborhood that he knew of or that he could find online into that little search bar to see how the crime rate is of that neighborhood. So definitely go to neighborhoodscout.com. It gives a lot of good information, and yeah, it really helped us. We moved now to, this is our second neighborhood that we moved to, and both times it really was correct what Neighborhood Scout said. Also, what's kind of important is you need to realize that a lot of the stuff in America is connected to your social security number, and your social security number is connected to your credit score. So the best way that I can describe social security number is with een syskaart in Belgium, because it first and foremost has to do like kind of with like your health insurance and stuff. So, you know, when you go to the doctors and stuff, you have to give in that number. It'll pop up all extra information on you, but that number is also connected, you know, it's like the end all. It's also connected to your credit score. Now, what we found out in moving here is even though I had my social security number since birth, I didn't use anything to build up my credit score every time I came to the States, you know, because obviously I didn't have a credit card. So if you don't have a credit card, you're not building your credit score. And so my credit score was basically unknown. And in the United States, if you want to get an apartment or a house, not even like loaning, you know, money with the bank, but just getting an apartment in a house, they always, not always, but like 90% of the time, 95% of the time, they check your credit score. So because ours was unknown and we were both coming from overseas, what we had to do is give some more detailed information on our backgrounds, like sending over our pay stubs from our current job, well, at the time current jobs, sending over like a print screen of your bank statement, like what you already have saved up, or your savings account. Just first of all, make sure that you're talking to a legit management company. What I would suggest on doing is when you first move to America, go with a management company in an apartment complex, because they know a lot of stuff, and you're not dealing with like one separate person or like a landlord, because that might be dodgy for your first time and all this other stuff. So just deal with management company, because they want everything on black and white on paper. And that was a good experience for us. We were very lucky and blessed to be able to find somebody that was accepting of us, that was very understanding, and was fine with the fact that we had no credit score. So just to reiterate, we had no credit score. It wasn't bad. It was just unknown. So just keep that in mind. You will have to send over like personal information if you are going to try to set up your apartment before you leave, because there's some people that come to the United States and stay in like a hostel or an Airbnb type of place for a month, and in that month trying to find a place, and then they can just hand over paperwork. But we did it beforehand. Benjamin was like on it. It's crazy. Okay, the next step is what to shut down in Belgium. First of all, you have to write yourself out of the city. They do not have that in America. You do not have to write in the city or out the city. You just move and change your, utility bills to your new place, and that's fine. In Belgium, it's different. In Belgium, when you move from Antwerp to Ghent, I have to go to my local city hall. I have to let them know that I'm leaving Antwerp City. They have to write me out of the book, and they have to give me my new address in Ghent. Then I have to go to Ghent to the city hall and make sure they write my name and address in the city book in Antwerp, which is, I think, a very good system. So in Dutch it's called uitschrijven. Je moet u gaan uitschrijven in uw gemeentehuis of in uw stadhuis. This is something that takes like a matter of seconds. Like literally, I came in, just had to give my Belgium ID. With that little chip thingy, once they put it in, all the information pops up. So they had to give it in on the computer. Take off my old address and then put in my new address, and they actually put in the new American address. And then they give you a document that you have to sign. But that really goes fast. You want to do it as close to your leaving date as possible. That's what they told me at the time. I couldn't do it like a month before or like 2 weeks before, because also in Belgium, like the cop, literally the policeman, comes to your house and like checks. And so he would come to my mom's apartment and check, and if he saw that I was still there, I would be fine because I gave incorrect information. So that's why you want to do it as close to your date you're gonna leave as possible. So let's say I think I left on Monday, so I did it on a Friday. Then on that same day, because with those information documents, I went to the health insurance place and I told them that they had to sign me up, because a lot of people on that video also, or on another video, they were like, yeah, but just go to Belgium for healthcare. I don't know on what video it was anymore, but it's not that easy. We do not have Belgium healthcare anymore. If you're signed out, you're signed out. So you know how we get a CIS-kaart in Belgium? They literally just either they cut it up or they take it from you and they stick it on a piece of paper with tape, and they put it in their little filing cabinet, and that's that. That was the hardest part for me because I knew I was giving up amazing health care. Even though I was no longer a student, I was a full-time worker. I did live with my mom, and I paid, we're gonna look up how much I paid in health insurance. Okay, so I paid $100 for 1 year of health insurance. That's everything. I mean, eye doctor, dentist, gynecologist, the regular, you know, house doctor. Everything is included in that. I mean, you still have to pay for certain stuff, obviously. Like if you get braces at a later point in your life, like when you're over the age of 14 and you get braces in Belgium, it's going to cost you like thousands of euros. If you do it before, I think they pay like 95%. I know when I had braces, I think my mom only paid 100 or 200 euros. I think, I'm not too sure. Anyways, it's a big difference because as I said, I used to pay like $100. We now pay like $120 a month. So it's a huge difference. So be prepared, people. And the American health insurance doesn't even include everything. So we just have health insurance for like our bodies and stuff. And then we have a separate insurance for our teeth, which is, I want to say like $30 a month. So that's on top of the $120. We pay $30 a month, not per person. Like that's the total price. Okay, then something else that you want to do beforehand is your bank account in Belgium. Now you have to be smart about this. If you're a working person and you leave, like I did in September of a year, know that you are still taxable for some months. I don't know if that's the word, taxable. You still have to turn in your taxes and all that stuff. So you might not want to cancel your bank account because they still need that information. If they need to deposit money into your bank account, or you know, if you have to give money, you need your bank account. So just be smart about that. Then when packing, try to get the vacuum packing bags, which I bought at Blokker of Casa. You know, fold your stuff in, you put them in these bags. There's like this little clamps that you turn around, you put your vacuum cleaner like nozzle on it, and then you turn it on and it sucks all the air out. So it like compresses everything, and it's super compact, but like really good. Definitely try that because it saves room. Like it gives you more room to pack. We left with three suitcases. I had two and then Benjamin had one, which basically was mine. So 3 suitcases. So I paid for an extra suitcase because you're only allowed one, and then one carry-on and one handbag or something. So what we only did was bring clothes because we left from our parents' house. Well, technically Benjamin was living in his own house, but his parents were like living there, so they had all their stuff. So there was no furniture or stuff that we need to ship out or anything, so it was just clothes. And to be honest, I would suggest unpacking as much clothes as you want to, because the first couple of months that you're in the United States, you're not really going to think about like shopping and buying clothes, so you're just going to want to bring whatever you have. Unfortunately, Belgium is not that good weather as in Florida, so I didn't have as much shorts and then just tops and then maxi dresses and stuff as, you know, one would want when coming to a state that's over 30 degrees Celsius on a regular. But, you know, also what I want to say is get one bag and fill it with the goodies that you're going to miss. To be honest, all Benjamin and I talk about when we talk about Belgium is food. We miss certain foods, but then when I'm in Belgium, I miss American foods, you know, like you can just never have it both ways. But what I would suggest unpacking, if you're like me, I'm letting you know what's not in the United States, is shasha, leels, letterkoekjes, centerwafers, krakotten, hagelsslash, kruidvatsnoep. Met kruidvatsnoep bedoel ik de colaflesjes, de zure matten, peperkoek. Listen, I have a couple of like goodies from Belgium videos. Go watch them, because everything that I'm opening up there is not something that they have over here. Paprika chips. They do not have paprika chips here, people. So if you move, bring paprika chips. Now, what you're also going to want to do is plan your day of arrival. You might want to do this a couple of months before, you know, weeks before, whatever the case may be. where do you want to stay your day of arrival? Are you going straight to the apartment complex? Are you going straight to the house that you rented? Are you going to stay in a hotel for the first week? Whatever it is, plan it out. Okay, now the stuff to do in the USA when you arrive. First is opening a bank account. We are currently with Bank of America. That was the bank that we started out with, which, I mean, we love the bank now. It's a very popular bank, so there's a lot of locations all over the United States. But I do not suggest starting with that bank when you first get here, because they have like a lot of rules. Not really with documentation. I mean, they gave Benjamin his bank card because we have like a joint bank account. We have like 2 bank cards, one for me, one for him, on the same bank account. And they gave his before he had a social security card. As soon as he got his number, we just went to the bank and like updated the information. But they don't give like a hard time about that. It's just that there's a lot of rules with you have to have a minimum of 1,200 something, like a balance on your checking account at all time. That's the minimum. Or at least $250 deposit from like an employer, which obviously I wasn't working at the time, so you know, if you don't have those 2, they fine you. I don't know how much they fine you though. I would suggest on going with other banks. At the job, I think somebody recommended Chase. Second thing you want to get in order is your ID. Now, I know now it's like changing in Belgium, but before we had like a separate, like the pink little booklet for a driver's license and then the green ID card. In America, it's all, you know, in one, and that's what I think like now they're trying to transition to in Belgium as well. It just says on the card like non-driver or permit or driver, and then it says excellent or good driver. As I said, you don't have to like enroll in your city. You just have to go there, get your ID, so bring like a proof of your name, like another piece of document. Then you also have to get proof of address, so your lease agreement, utility bill would work as well. What else? Your social security number. If you don't have a social security number, Benjamin didn't have his yet, I believe, when he got his ID. They gave him a temporary ID, but I can't remember whether that was before or it. Like the paperwork took so long, and literally when they gave him his green card, they still messed it up. They got his birthday wrong. Like the whole process is like still ongoing, and they give your ID on the spot. Because a good thing, something that I hated in Belgium, was I had to go to this like photo copy printer sales place, whatever, take my picture. They always do 4 ID pictures. They never just do 1, so then you have to pay for 4 pictures. You go to your city hall, you give them your pictures, and you give them the piece of paper, and then you have to wait like a week, 2 weeks, whatever, and then they send it to you in the mail thing. That's not how it goes over here. You stand in front of like a blank wall, they bloop, take a picture, they give you your ID. Like it literally takes 15 minutes. The next step is job hunting. Now obviously you can do this in Belgium. I don't know how long I was searching for a job. I want to say maybe like a month, you know, here and there I was looking, but like legit looking maybe like a week or a week and a half. And yeah, I started in May 2014 working in a call center. I feel like they're always looking for people to work in a call center, and even though you might not really like that job, it's a job, you get paid, you know, so yeah. Get a credit card. Now I know it might sound like, oh my god, don't want that, because that's how we were. Well, that's how really Benjamin was in the beginning. I don't like the idea of a credit card, just because if you're not careful, you can obviously accumulate like a lot of like debt and stuff. But that's the only real way to build your credit score in this country. And your credit score is linked to so many things. Getting a good apartment, buying a house, buying a car. Even if you're not like loaning money, they still want you to have a good credit score. Like let's say I have $200,000 like in cash in my pocket. They still want to get my information to make sure that I have a good credit score. So it's all like intertwined and connected, and that's the only way to build it. Like we couldn't even get a monthly it's called in English, for your phone, and that's just called an abonnement. Hier is een abonnement. We couldn't even get that. When you get here, they're not going to give you a monthly, it's not subscription, but what's it called, for the love of God? they don't give you the monthly thingy. You have to do prepaid, so I would suggest on going with T-Mobile. That's what we're connected to. They give you like, you know, options, unlimited texts and calls with 1 gigabyte, 2, 3, 10, unlimited, and all that good stuff. And then it ranges from $40 to maybe like $100. The last thing that I want to say on the list is to go to your embassy. Benjamin and I still haven't gone to our embassy. So Benjamin and I both have to go to the Belgium embassy, and then he has to go to the Turkish embassy as well. We have to go there to basically stay in contact with the Belgium and with the Turkish government and authorities. You know, for voting purposes in Belgium, we can go and actually still vote and be involved in that. Our IDs. Mine expires in 2018, so before that I have to go and, by the way, just look at this picture. Just look at this picture. My eyebrows are like super thin. Anyways, so when this expires, I should get mine in like in the mail and stuff from my local, not local, from my embassy, but the closest embassy is in Atlanta for the Belgium stuff, and then the Turkish stuff is in New York. I don't even know if it's an embassy or a consulate. So yeah, we have to go and figure that out. So that's definitely something that you're gonna want to do if you no longer have like relatives and stuff in Belgium and you still have to deal with taxes. You're going to have to do it via the embassy. Okay, now questions from, is life cheaper or more expensive? To be quite honest, it depends on what we're talking about. Day-to-day life, it's cheaper. Hands down, it's cheaper in America, like no doubt. Let's just say, for instance, gas in your car, okay? Right now, it's down to $1.65 in my area. Now the prices here in America is $1.65 for 1 gallon. 1 gallon equals 4 liters, like roughly. I pay €1.50 for 4 liters of gas. $1.50. Our taxes on bread and you know, shopping and goods and all that stuff, it went up to maybe 7% right now. I remember when we were like pissed off about it, because when we came it was 6%, like almost like 5 point la la la, and then it went up to 6%. And I remember when we came here and we were used to it and we saw like increase like 6.5, we were like, what? 6.5, but the difference is in Belgium it's already calculated in it, so you don't really notice it. Like if you see a top in H&M for 19.99, like the 21% tax is already included. If you see a top here for 19.99, that's the regular price, the tax is not included yet. Also for like eating and stuff, like dining out, it's I feel like it's cheaper over here as well. Also you have a little bit more opportunity for nice restaurants, but daytime appropriate restaurants with a good price. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's more variety of that over here than in Belgium. It's like you have fast food or you have like restaurants, but you can easily pay 20 euros, you know, 21 euros. And over here you can pay like 10 euros. And overall, I do feel like America, for just living and buying and stuff, and also like electricity is cheaper. Rent is also, like, depending on where you go live in the States, the rent is also cheaper. We paid between the $800 and $900 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartments with a separate dining room and all that stuff. That was our first apartment. That's not that, you know, common in Belgium. It's usually like 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, separate like restrooms, 2 walk-in closets. You know, it's all that extra space. And when you go to like a apartment community complex type of situation, there's a, you know, a pool included, tennis court, a little like play area for children, like a walking park pathway type of situation going on. So there's a lot of extras. Kitchen comes with the refrigerator, a lot of times washer and dryer is included, you know, that type of stuff, all depending where you move, obviously, because New York is crazy expensive. Okay, LA is crazy expensive. The biggest like practical differences is for me the health insurance by far. I told you guys before, I pay for my regular health insurance $120, then we pay $30 for our dental stuff, so that's like $150 a month that goes towards that. With our health insurance that we have currently, it means that we pay $2 I think when we go to the doctor, and if you go to like a specialist, so an oncologist, a gynecologist, the pediatrician, I guess it's included as well, then you pay a little bit more for that. So that's definitely something that's a huge difference. Taxes is also a huge difference. Like, let's say for instance the 2015 taxes, the deadline in Belgium is May, I do believe, and my mom just got like her tax return and it's January. In the States, the deadline is April 15. You see how I know that? And when we did our taxes in March, I think, of 2015, we got our tax return a week later. There's no de keuring dat je elk jaar naartoe met je auto. That doesn't exist over here. Let's say, you know, the tail light is broken or stuff. The police officer will see that and will give you a warning. Will let you know to, hey, go fix that, you know, go repair that as soon as possible. In Belgium, like once a year you have to go to this place and get your car checked like completely inside and outside. But if they want to, I mean, that place is very known to be like very particular on certain stuff. It can literally say like, you know, your car is not drivable if the air conditioning is not working. Who needs air conditioning in Belgium? You know what I mean? Over here, everybody hates going to the DMV, but in Belgium, everybody hates going to the keuring. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna really try to cut this video down, guys. I really don't want to like put it in 2 separate videos. I just want it to be like one video that you can go to and click on and get all the information. So I'm sorry if it's like a lot. I tried to narrow it down as much as possible. I hope this was helpful. And if you have any other questions, or as I said, if you want to see like an in-depth video talking about the K1, I can definitely ask Benjamin to go ahead and do that because he was way more hands-on with that. So he has more information, he has more feelings towards it. So I can definitely go ahead and ask that for you guys. And if you have any other videos that you would like to see me do, also leave that in the comments down below, and then I will see you in the next video. Bye. Mwah.